ages of children, and it breaks down their ages at the time of their death. So the red, green, and gold encompasses children who are under the age of 5. They're 0 to 4, and they make up 72% of the deaths with agency history. It's very clear to see from looking at this chart that that's a huge number of children. The red, if you can see, is children under the age of 12 months. And those children are the most vulnerable of any children that we deal with. 180 of the deaths reported to DFCS, nearly half of those children were younger than 12 months of age, and more than a third were younger than 6 months old. So we have looked closely at children under the age of 1, and are trying to figure out why they're dying. So in 2013, 42% of them were sleep-related deaths under the age of 12 months. So in your report there, again, it details the manners and the causes. And just to speak a moment about the undetermined deaths, there are 26 children who died and the cause of their death was really unknown. And that's what an undetermined finding means. And that means that we really didn't know enough at the time of their death to say definitively what happened to that child. 9 of those deaths are categorized as natural, and 7 were categorized as accidental. Co-sleeping with siblings or adults is a huge factor in this category. Having an unsafe sleep environment, such as a sofa, a car seat, or a crib or a bassinet that is full of blankets and pillows, is another contributing factor that we see over and over upon our review of child deaths. In 2012, sleep-related deaths accounted for 40% of the recorded deaths with DFCS history. And after co-sleeping was identified early on in our review of cases, we developed a campaign within DFCS and statewide with other public agencies to address safe sleeping. We made it a priority to go out and try to educate the public, educate our families that we were working with on the potential dangers of co-sleeping. This is not a law, but we have our knowledge of what can cause harm to a child when they're co-sleeping, so we took it upon ourselves to try to share that information with the families that we serve. So this data isn't really comparable completely to 2012, and it's certainly too early to state whether this is a trend or not, but percentage-wise, the number of children who died in 2013 due to co-sleeping is lower than it was in 2012. There were 86 children under the age of 1 in 2013. 9 of their deaths in this group were classified as homicides. 12 children in this category never left the hospital. Some of those children were born prematurely. Several of those children had substance abuse involved in their, they were prenatally exposed to substance abuse. And one of the things that we have found upon reviewing these cases is that substance abuse impacts a parent's ability very strongly in terms of their ability to care for young children, and especially vulnerable children under the age of 1. So 78 of the caretakers that we dealt with in the past, in the year 2013, had allegations of substance abuse at some time during our agency's involvement with the family. So this next chart is it's a little different than mine, but anyway, substance abuse is a huge factor, and we have found it to be a very large factor in the children and the families that we deal with. It's also a very challenging allegation to address. Substance abuse is usually very hidden. If you ask a parent if they're drinking, they don't usually say, yeah, I had 5 beers. They say 2 or 1. And so it's a hard thing to wrap your head around when you're a case manager trying to assess that as you're out in the field. Assessing that with very young children is something that DFCS has been focused on, and trying to enhance our agency's ability to know how to address substance abuse allegations, specifically in relation to allegations of maltreatment with young children. So these are a few high-level items This is not certainly everything that has encompassed our review of these cases in the last year, but these are well worth noting. Young children are very vulnerable. Substance abuse is a risk factor. We didn't mention really mental health or domestic violence, but that is also a high risk factor with DFACS and the cases that we review. This data only covers a specific population of children. It isn't comprehensive as a child fatality review report, but we hope that it will help in that effort to enhance the public and the agency's response to children in Georgia. We are hoping to train our staff and make sure that they have the tools that they need to do the jobs when they are charged with going out to protect children, and are hoping that this analysis will help do that. Thank you.